she had a conflicting engagement, but I am happy to give a little bit of a briefer on what's been going on in the Capitol as it relates to healthy school meals for all. So thank you all so much to those of you that were able to make our very last minute bill introduction on January 16th. Democrats here in the Assembly and Senate introduced a legislative bill package called the Lowering Cost Improving Lives package that expanded the homestead tax credit. It tackled prescription drug affordability, and it also implemented healthy school meals for all. And so that was a bill that we've seen and this coalition has worked on in numerous iterations that we reintroduced again. The legislative bill package, including healthy school meals for all specifically, included every Democrat in both the Assembly and Senate as original authors, which was really awesome. The way it was introduced, was last minute in the sense that during the budget process, Democrats don't typically introduce bills before the governor's budget is proposed and we see what Republicans have put in it. I think there was a little bit of, that uncertainty with the federal government, with, the economic crisis that some Wisconsinites are feeling. And so there was a decision that was made, not a typical one, to just introduce these bills so quickly. And so that is, a little bit of why it might have come as a surprise to some coalition members about the really quick introduction. But the bill is out there. It is yet to receive a bill number. A lot of bills, I think, have not received a bill number. We don't really know why our leadership has dragged their feet, Republican leadership, on that. I don't think it necessarily changes the timeline of the bill. We anticipate that it will be referred to a committee, and then after that, hopefully does not follow the same path previous iterations have, and hopefully is scheduled for a public hearing this session. So fingers crossed. So that's a little bit about the brief about the bill intro and the timeline. We'll keep you all updated with what committee it's referred to and any further action at this time. But mostly what I think we're all focused on right now in the Capitol is Governor Evers' proposed budget. So a little bit after the Healthy School Meals for All bill introduction, Governor Evers announced in his State of the State address a little bit of a budget teaser on January 22nd of his plan to address student hunger through what he's calling Healthy Meals, Healthy Kids initiative in his 2025-27 executive budget proposal. So the proposal aims to, in their words, make sure every kid has access to healthy breakfast and lunch every day at school with no stigma and at no cost to families. The governor proposed $154.8 million for the Healthy Meals, Healthy Kids 25-27 executive budget investment. So this is still just a teaser. The governor will unveil his full budget on the 18th, which is next week, where we can really look into these provisions in depth. I did have a little bit, if you all want me to go into, about the specific allocations. I can also just send it over of what the governor has told us and has included in a press release about his Healthy School Meals initiative. From my take, we did a comparison memo, and a lot of it mirrors what DPI has proposed in their agency budget on the lines of Healthy School Meals for All and along the lines of what he has previously proposed in previous budgets that Republicans decided to strike out. So I am happy to make that available. There also, I think, are a few programs that were not included in the 2023-2025 budget. Such as grants for school districts that regard water bottle filling stations, and new appropriations for the Farm to School initiative. So once I have those from a source that's not just a press release, I'll make sure that that is available to the coalition to view. With that being said, a little bit about what the budget process entails and where this proposal might end up. Again, on February 18th, Evers will unveil his full budget proposal, and then from there, the legislative branch kind of takes over that budget writing process through the Joint Finance Committee. The majority party then has the decision whether they will take up up the governor's budget in whole, whether they will strike it back to base, which means that they strike it all down and they start from the funding levels that they approved from the previous budget, or if they want to introduce something all new altogether. And so around mid-March, the JFC will start conducting agency briefings where agencies come in and start talking about their specific budget asks that they ask the governor for. In April, the JFC, the Joint Finance Committee, will also travel the state for a public hearing roadshow. So it could be a really important opportunity for folks around the state to talk about healthy school meals for all directly to these members. There will be executive sessions for the budget in May and end of June legislative action on the budget. So we are waiting a little bit to see what happens next week with Healthy School Meals for All. But I think from what we've seen and from the budget teasers, there's a great opportunity for this issue to be top of mind. And the governor has declared this year as the year of the kid. So really great messaging opportunity there. Moving on to a little briefer about federal funding freezes, and I want to start this off by saying that I really hope that you guys can excuse that this is a really, brief and limited summary. There are so many things that are so in flux right now that we don't necessarily have all the information. So I wish we could be sharing more. The Democratic caucus here in the Assembly is especially concerned, obviously, with Trump's executive order and its impacts on communities here in Wisconsin. I can tell you that our inbox has been full of people from the 76th district and across the state that are worried about their health care, their child care, and so many other incredibly important programs that are at risk now because of this EO. On statewide level, about 2 weeks ago, Governor Tony Evers joined Attorney General Josh Kaul and a coalition of 22 other states in a lawsuit against Trump's executive order. The lawsuit brings up constitutionality claims, as well as claiming that it violates that the executive order violates Congress's power to decide how federal funds are spent. So that is still being adjudicated. We do know from that lawsuit that according to the Legislative Fiscal Bureau, Wisconsin is estimated to receive about $28.2 billion in appropriated federal investments over the 2023-25 biennium. So, even though we do also see that there have been numerous lawsuits aimed at the federal freeze, and some judicial rulings have unfrozen some grants, relief to nonprofits, states, and companies still has been uneven across the board, and there's a lot of concern that it might, only be a temporary solution. So as far as our office and our caucus, what we're doing is trying to engage with federal lawmakers that are closer to this situation as much as possible as, this situation evolves, and we're just trying to keep track of the issues constituents are coming to us with. And we know that with school meals, with childcare, with Head Start, there's still a lot of considerations and uncertainties that are ahead of us. So we hope that our office and other coalition members here in the legislature that we keep those lines of communication as open as possible in these next few weeks to make sure that we are planning and reacting accordingly. So I wish I had a more comforting analysis about that, but that is where we are.
Thank you so much, Nada. Matt, did you want to share kind of your take on the federal freeze?
Yeah, sure. So as a food bank, in looking at all the federal and child nutrition programs that we have across the state and the country, we really look at this as two pieces. One, there's what's happening right now with any potential federal freeze, and two, it's future dollars being spent. And so really digging into the budget reconciliation bills that are happening in Washington, D.C., and anything that gets teed up later this fall for the FAR bill. Specifically around the funding freeze for us, I think it's important for folks to know that Food Share SNAP continues to go out and continues to be an incredibly strong program for people being able to put food on the table. That until you hear otherwise from anyone at, I'd say, like your local food bank. We have Jackie Anderson, the executive director of Feeding Wisconsin, on here too, that can fill in any gaps that I'm missing. That all of these programs are operating as normal unless you hear otherwise with a specific program. But right now, yeah, that's why I think it's two different kind of like tracks. There's what is could be happening with any potential freezing as things get reviewed, etc. And then the second is what happens into the future with future dollars through budget reconciliation.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. And then too, as far as like specifically for schools, I know DPI did send out a message to just continue as planned and to wait for further updates as they learn more. So thanks again, Nada, for representing Representative Hong today and sharing your guys' knowledge. We really appreciate that.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Moving on in our agenda, we have coalition and campaign strategic plan updates. Is Dr. Gaddis with us yet, or Amelia?
I'm with us. I'm Amelia. I can.
Oh, hi, Amelia.
Yes. Hi, it's nice to meet you all. Some of you I've seen before on Zoom, but for those of you that I haven't met, I am Amelia. I am a second-year Master of Public Health student at UW-Madison, and I'm working with Dr. Jennifer Gaddis and then Healthy School Meals for All to host some op-ed training workshops. Of course, as we're talking about getting the passage of healthy school meals, these workshops are really tailored to going through some sample op-eds and then also hoping that each participant at the workshop is able to come out with a framework or a template on how they might advocate for healthy school meals in a publication of their choosing, and that has some resonance with community members. We hosted one workshop so far, and that had 3 participants, and then we're hoping to get another one on the books for next week. So far, that's looking like 4 to 5 participants, but we're also, if anybody here is interested in participating in that, I can share our when to meet link. We're trying to still find a time, so if folks want to input their availability and attend that, we would be happy to have you. And then I believe it's also linked in the agenda, but there is a PDF of our op-ed training framework, just if you want to kind of see how we're going through these and some sample op-eds as well. But I'm happy to take any questions about that process too.
All right, thank you, Amelia. We also were able to send some people to go to the Wisconsin State Education Conference, and we thought it'd be fun to share how that went. So, Caitlin, Allison, Matt.
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about it, and then if anybody else has anything else to add, please do so. We had a booth in the exhibit hall, and just really worked on finding new members or finding additional members to help us support this cause. We did an educational session as well for some of the people attending the conference, and I thought that they went really well. We got a lot of interest in our cause. We also found out after the conference was over that the Wisconsin Association of School Boards supports legislation that allows money to reimburse districts for the cost of unpaid school meal debt. So not necessarily supporting full free meals for all, but along the same category, and any win we can get with this group of people is fantastic.
Thank you, Caitlin. And I'll add a quick shout out because I'm seeing this face on the call. One of our coalition members, if you remember, we put a call out to have coalition members join us down at the State Ed Conference. And I want to give a big shout out to Anita. She was one of our coalition members and an absolute rock star at engaging with folks at the booth and inviting people to sign up. I think I had to input 3 or 4 or 5, or no, it was at least 4 or 5 or 6 full sheets of names from Anita. And so she just was absolutely fantastic at talking with folks about healthy school meals for all. So Anita, thank you so much.
Awesome. Yes, I heard Anita was a rock star down there. Thank you, Anita, for coming and representing our mission. It's greatly appreciated. So the next thing that we kind of wanted to talk about, the panel workshop was amazing. That's what I heard. I heard it went really well. So the next thing on our list that we wanted to kind of talk about was the elected official collection. So us as a coalition thought that it would be really helpful to know where our members are located to help us in planning advocacy, how our approach would be, and to kind of see where our population is and what representatives we have home representatives for us. So if you guys could take a moment and fill that out, it would be helpful for us to know. And then some other more exciting things. Allison has been partnering with Sam Kincaid, and I see that she's on here too. And she's been working really hard in trying to get our Instagram and our Facebook and just kind of making our communications flow better. So we just want to let everyone know that we are on Instagram now. We are on Facebook, and we just sent out the first letter with MailChimp. You should have gotten that yesterday or the day before. And it looks fabulous. So shout out to Sam on organizing that and getting it together. And I know Allison, you had a big hand in that too, so thank you. We also have a link for every action. I'm gonna let someone else cover this. Allison, Matt.
I'll maybe turn it over to Matt. Matt, do you care to chat about every action? I'll drop it here in the link.
Yeah. So as we're starting to generate pressure on elected officials and make sure that they can hear stories about what's really going on and why passing this is important, one of the tools in the tool belt is a link through this, which is run actually through Feeding Wisconsin. And it's a tool that there's a bunch of them out there. A lot of folks on this call has probably used one of them before, but it's nice because you can customize your message and make sure you're sending it directly to elected officials. It's easy. It's 1 or 2 steps to be able to do this. You make sure you get it in their inbox, but the way that you make sure that they open the email that's in their inbox is you customize it. So my big tip for this is I would almost say don't send it unless you customize it. Change the email signature that they have there, add in a little something about why this matters to you. We've run a number of different trainings on this coalition about how to develop a really strong ask. But really, as long as you speak from the heart and tell a personal story about why this matters for you, that is the most impactful way to be able to use this tool to have an impact.
Thank you, Matt. So next, we feel like the breakout sessions are helpful because it gets you guys all talking. Can we share? Yeah. Yeah. Feel free to share the tools that we share with you. So we feel like we like to get you guys all talking, so we have a breakout session. It's just a short one, and the question that we kind of want you guys to discuss today is what new way can you gain your elected legislator support in healthy school meals for all? So Allison, can you help do the breakout?
All right, I am going to, how long do you want, Stacy? Couple minutes?
Yeah, I think there's just the one discussion, so that should be good.
Okay, great. I'll be sure to pull everyone back by 1:55. So here we go.
Looks like everyone is coming back from their breakouts. Does anyone want to share what their group came up with as far as ways to get their legislators on board? We can, Joe. I think you're cutting out now, though. So it looks like Laura's group focused on communication and talking to them. They need to hear your voice, so they know what you want them to voice for them. So that's great. Does anyone else want to share?
In our group, we had a couple people. One, Christina, I think one of the key things is just having different voices in the room. So Christina offered to be able to provide, if an educator could come along to any different meetings that are having to make sure that, the meeting with an elected official can have different voices. And I think that theme extended to Anita when she talked about the importance of just bringing it back to like what matters and speaking from your own perspective.
Awesome. Carly, go ahead.
Someone in our group, and I apologize, I did not catch her name, had a fantastic idea. She led with data. What data do we have that supports that this is impactful, not only to the children, but ultimately to the education, because the schools need to perform so well in order to get funding, et cetera. So being able to, help the students in doing that should help their ultimate mission as well.
Yeah, that's really good. All right. So thank you guys for doing that. Does anyone else want to share before we move along? Okay, so updates around the state. Can you guys hear me? Okay. So updates around the state. We did want to share. So myself and Caitlin are from the School Nutrition Association of Wisconsin. We did want to share that we have a virtual advocacy day planned. And we're opening it up to non-members. And the link is on the agenda if you wanted to register. And it is free to SNA Wisconsin members and students if they want to participate. And then action items. So we try to find things that you guys can help us do. So right now, what we really are looking for is reaching out to your elected officials and just voicing to them how important this is. Share your heart, stories from the heart. We just need to tell them why it's important. So we included a link to the state legislators interactive map, and that should be updated as of the elections on or the new session of January 6th. We also linked the advocacy toolkit from SNA Wisconsin. It just has helpful resources to help you formulate your ask and your letters. And then school nutrition staff specifically, we would love to see more tours and invitations going out to host your representatives if you're able to. And make sure when you are looking up your representative that you're looking up where you're working in that instance and not where you live, because sometimes they could be different. And then to fill out that elected official form that we had asked or that we had mentioned earlier, just so we as a coalition can kind of see where you're at and see who we have representing us that is represented in legislation. To the lead team, does anyone else have anything else to add? All right.
Nothing else, Stacy, but just a big thank you for everyone for joining us here today, and thank you for being advocates. wherever you are throughout the state and talking about the importance of healthy school meals for all. We so appreciate it. And we're getting into an exciting time of year with the budget and a lot of things where we can take action. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.